Hello students, welcome once again to my class. As we know that we are doing Solitary Reaper, William Wordsworth's The Solitary Reaper, and now we'll do stanza 3. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old unhappy far off things and battles long ago. Or is it some humble lay, familiar matter of today, some natural sorrow, loss or pain that has been and may be again? Now, in this stanza, the writer, the poet actually, he listens to that sad music. He loves that music, but he does not understand it. So he's just asking, will no one tell me what she sings? That he does not understand the language, because this language, this girl is a Scotland Highland lass, and she is singing the song which the poet does not understand. And he's saying, will no one tell me what she sings? That he says that she is singing a sad song, and maybe her song relates to some past events. Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old, unhappy, far off things. That much by the tone of the music, he can understand that this music is a sad music. And he is making a guess at what must be the subject matter of her song. So he's saying that is she singing about some sad past events, or unhappy far off things, or of the battles long ago, or is it some more humble lay? Is it some ordinary song, familiar matters of today? Okay, is she singing about some ordinary things, about the familiar matters of today, or some natural sorrow, loss or pain that has been and may be again? Now he's trying to make out the content of the song, and he's actually wondering that I do not understand the song, and I want someone to explain to me the content of the song, the subject matter of the song. And he is saying that maybe that she is singing about some ordinary things or about some far off things. So he is trying to guess the subject matter. Then he also feels that he's saying some natural sorrow, loss or pain that has been and may be again. कि ये क्या है, इसका सब्जेक्ट, विषय वस्तु क्या है इसके गाने की, इसके की कि क्या ये रोज़मर्रा की कोई साधारण चीज़ों के बारे में है, साधारण इवेंट्स के बारे में, घटनाओं के बारे में है, या फिर कोई बहुत दूर की एक दुखद कहानी है, या बैटल्स, जो कि युद्ध में हमेशा सैडनेस ही होता है। युद्ध में तो कोई मारा जाता है या कुछ ऐसा होता है, तो battles actually bring sorrow to either to the winner or to the loser. So this is what he says. So now let's look at the literary devices. Let's first look at the rhyme scheme of this. Rhyme scheme is the same as in the previous stanzas. This is sings and things, A, flow and a go, B, lay and day, C, and pain and again, D. Now next literary device is alliteration. You know, alliteration is the repetition of the consonant sound. So what are the consonant sounds in here which is repeated? P, P. Perhaps, plaintive, numbers flow. And then we have assonance. Assonance is the repetition of the vowel sound. Now, vowel sound is I, will, plaintive, is, familiar, pain, again. So there's a repetition of I sound in this. Now look at the stanza 4. Whatever the theme, the maiden sang, as if a song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her work, and over the sickle bending. I listened motionless and still, as I mounted up the hill. The music in my heart I bore, long after it was heard no more. This is the last stanza or the fourth stanza of this poem. And now he's saying that whatever be the topic of a song, whatever be the theme of the song, whatever this maiden was singing, this young girl was singing, whatever be the theme, whatever be the subject matter this girl was singing, I'm not bothered about that. Whatever she sang, this maiden sang, this girl, a young girl, she sang, as if her song could have no ending. She went on singing and singing, and he felt that there was no ending to her song. I saw her singing at her work and over the sickle bending. Now, sickle is the instrument, a tool for cutting grass and grain crops. It has a short handle and a blade shaped like a hoof. So it is a loop, like a loop, like C. It is in the form of a C. If you have if you know the symbol of the communists, so they have the sickle as their symbol. So she was singing at her work, and she was over the sickle. She was bending and cutting the grass. I listened motionless and still as I mounted up the hill. Mounted means climbed the hill. And the music in my heart I bore long after it was heard no more. This music, I bore this music. Bore is the past tense of bear. So he's saying, I bore that music in my heart. And I felt as if this song is never going to end, because that girl was singing and working and singing. And she was doing her work as this writer stood motionless and still. She was nicely harvesting the crop, and she was singing. And this whole valley was filled with her song. And when he mounted up the hill, when he was crossing over the hill, he bore that music in his heart long after it was heard no more. That is, this song stayed with him even after he went away from here. And this is the music that here, it is the beauty of the music that we say that all the beautiful things, they impress us so much that we can never forget them. So here it's saying that this music is still with me. I can still hear that music. Though now that girl is not singing, but this music is in my heart, it is in my mind, and I can still listen to that music. I carried this music all along, even after it was heard no more. So in this way, we can say that this poem also suggests the ability of the art to transcend cultural boundaries and language barriers, to enjoy and draw pleasures out of it. A thing of beauty is a joy forever, as John Keats puts it. So we know that in this whole poem, we have come across that this poem is about the power of imagination to transform common everyday events into representations of a larger reality. Let me see, in this stanza, let's see at the literary devices. First is the rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme is the same as the other stanzas, A, B, C, C, and D, D. But as we know that the first and the third, they are not working. Like A is not working, it is B and B. Sang and work does not match. It is ending and bending. Then work does not match. So it is still and hill, it is C, C, and bore and more. Now we have another device, is alliteration. As we know, in the previous stanza we saw alliteration is the repetition of the consonant sound. And this sound is the, whatever the, then theme, the. And then we have repetition of assonance. Assonance, as you know, is the repetition of a vowel sound. Here the vowel sound is I, maiden, if, singing, sickle, bending, listened, motion, still, hill, music, in, it, and all that. So this consonance is this. Now consonance is the repetition of a consonant sound. Now here we have the sound of N, like ending, maiden, singing, music, no, all these. The most of the repetition of this sound is this. So we have the summary. Now what is the summary of this poem? The poet saw a young girl who was alone, who was cutting crops in the field, and the whole valley was filled with the sound of the sad song that she was singing. So this young girl was cutting crops in the fields, and the whole valley was filled with it, the sound of the sad song. And then the poet compares her voice to the melodious nightingale bird. He says that no nightingale in the deserts who sings welcome songs for the tired travelers could have sung so beautifully as that of the young girl. That is, that song of the young girl is more melodious than the song of the nightingale bird who sings in the oasis of the Arabian deserts to welcome the tired travelers. Though this poet does not understand the song of this girl, but he appreciates its tone and its expressive beauty and the blissful mood it creates within him. So he also compares her voice, that he says that her voice was better than the cuckoo bird's thrilling voice, which expressed the onset of spring in the far-off islands of Hebrides. Now, this is the island in Scotland. It's in the furthest corner of the islands, Hebrides. So here he is comparing the song to the cuckoo bird. Cuckoo bird, आप जानते हैं, कोयल, जो कि अपने यहाँ भी बहुत अच्छा गाती है स्प्रिंग टाइम में, जब स्पेशली वो आम के पेड़ पर बैठकर गाती है, ऐसा कहा जाता है. So that is a beautiful song, in the beautiful voice she sings. And he said he cannot understand a song and considers it to be a sad song in the memory of some old unhappy events like a war. Now here he is conjecturing the subject matter of the poem, and he says that though he does not understand this song, and he is making an idea about the theme of this song, that it might be a sad song. That much he knows, that it is a very sad, melancholic song, and she might be singing in the memory of some old unhappy events like that of a war. And he feels that it could also be an ordinary song, also relating to her day's experiences of sadness, loss, or pain, which keeps occurring daily. Daily routines like life and death, daily routine, unhappy things, or maybe some natural calamity. So she must be singing about the theme. She might be singing about these kind of themes. The poet is unable to comprehend, because this song, the song which she was singing, was not in English language, but it was maybe in Scots, because she was a Highland lass, Scottish Highland lass, and she must be singing in her own native language, that is Scots. So he is actually saying that it seemed that her song would never end as she went on working, cutting the crops with a sickle and singing that sad, melancholic song. So he says that it seemed that she is going to, her song was never ending, and she went on singing while she was working. Though the poet was mesmerized by her song, वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा आकर्षित हो गया था उस गाने से, he stood still and listened to it. And as he walked up the hill, the music of the girl's song remained in his heart, and the song remained in his heart for a long time afterwards. That is, this is actually the beauty of the art of music, that it transcends all the cultural boundaries and it impresses you. कभी कभी जैसे पंजाबी गाने हम सुनते हैं, हमको वो समझ नहीं आते हैं, but we can feel the beat and the rhythm and we enjoy them. So it is similarly, he's saying that though he did not understand the language of this song, but still he enjoyed it. And he was so much impressed by the song that song remained with him for a very, very long time after it was heard no more. So I hope that you have understood this poem